back, Attorney Steve Onder, and welcome to another exciting video. This time we are talking about libel per se. What is this defamation concept? Without further ado, let's head to the Attorney Steve Litigation Whiteboard. Okay, so here we go. We have our litigation whiteboard here. We are back. Defamation. Now, okay, now with the internet is a blessing and it is a curse. It's a blessing because you have access to information, videos, all this stuff, but it's a curse. Anybody cannot say anything about anybody, put it in writing. It stays on the internet forever. It goes to the Internet Archive, oftentimes, which they call the Wayback Machine. If you've never looked that up, the Wayback Machine. So it's kind of crazy, and there needs to be rules, which we have, for defamation. And there's two types of defamation. One is slander, that's spoken, slander, spoken, in front of everybody, calling someone they have syphilis or something in front of everybody. Oh my God. Okay, things like that. But libel is in writing. Libel is written defamation. And usually when you have defamation, you have to prove your damages. But when you have libel per se, as they say, damages are presumed, okay? So you have presumed damages, check the box. Okay, there are four basic types of libel per se where you don't have to show your damages and you can just show the elements of defamation, which is false statement of fact of and concerning a plaintiff. Here's our plaintiff. Of and concerning a plaintiff, publicated to a third party, so it was heard and understood as involving the plaintiff. And causing damages. Okay, damages beyond mere insults. Mere insults. Hey, umpire, you're the biggest loser I've ever met. Okay, these are insults. A civilized society is supposed to tolerate a certain amount of insults, okay? But it puts a defamation, hurts the reputation of the defendant, puts him up to scorn, hatred, and ridicule, as they say, and basically can lead to damages such as out-of-pocket costs, lost opportunities, lost jobs, pain and suffering, what we call general damages. So we're checking the boxes here. And can also lead to punitive damages. These are the big ones where the jury exercises its sense of outrage and hits the defendant with a big punitive damage award, maybe in the millions of dollars, designed to punish and deter future defamation. So that's potentially available. And again, this is general legal information only. In the law, there is a lot of nuances in defamation law. There's a lot of defenses. There's a lot of nuances. There's protections for truth and opinion. This is First Amendment type of defenses, truth and opinion, as long as it's not couched as an opinion. In my opinion, she has syphilis. Okay, if you know that's not a really sincerely held belief, that could be a problem. So you have this. You also, in defamation cases, need to show that there's some kind of fault on the part of the defendant, that it wasn't merely just a non-intentional thing. There has to be some type of negligence or more. If the plaintiff is if the plaintiff is, let's say, a public figure plaintiff, that's why I put a crown on him here, public figure plaintiff, somebody like a politician, entertainer, sports star, that kind of thing, or somebody who thrusts themselves into a controversy, they need to show a higher degree of fault on the part of a defendant. They must show actual malice. This is the New York Times versus Sullivan case. This is where you need to show knowledge of the falsity or reckless disregard of the truth. So that's public figures. We're going to talk about that in another video because that's becoming a big deal these days with public figures and what happens if you try to sue a media company or you're suing a public figure, those kinds of things. But back to the four types, and we'll be done with our video here. Business, false statements of fact about a business and their profession. This company's a fraud. There's a lot of case law. In fact, I took some up here. Let me see on my handy sheet here. There were some cases dealing with someone in their business imputing dishonesty or lack of ethics to an attorney was slander per se. Okay, so something like this person's a fraud, like writing something on Better Business Bureau, just totally false statements of fact, or Yelp, those kinds of things. And I'm going to do another video on how to best handle this. If you're a victim of defamation, make sure you subscribe to get that video. Okay, that's coming up. So false statements of fact about a business or a reputation is libel per se if it's in writing. Stating that someone is convicted of a crime of moral turpitude or involved in a crime of moral turpitude, like that person's guilty of embezzlement, when you know it's not true, false statement of fact. That's a crime of moral turpitude. Stealing, that's libel per se. Imputing unchastity. This is the one we've been talking about, imputing unchastity. And I think I had a case here, or maybe I didn't. Imputing unchastity. Basically, that's the one saying someone's got, she's got syphilis or he's got syphilis. Imputing unchastity. Or that person's a whore. That person is a big whore. That's another one. And finally, the loathsome disease. And that's the one where we're talking about here. If I can get my notes straight. A statement that a woman employed as a cook was being treated for syphilis. This is the Schessler versus Keck case, 125 Cal. 2nd, 827. If false and unprivileged when published was slander per se. Again, that slander is oral, libel is written, but it's the same concept. So if you have one of these 4 classes, this is presumed damages. It makes it a little bit easier to move the case forward in a civil court. So there you have it. This is libel per se, special rules for public figures. Libel per quad. This comes up sometimes. It's like quad, Q-U-O-D. You may find this on a bar exam. Libel per quad. This is where you can't always tell who they're talking about. It could be a statement where you have to indirectly identify the plaintiff. Something like, all Heisman Trophy winners beat their wives. And you say, wow, well, there's a limited number of Heisman Trophy winners. I don't know how many, 40, 50 or whatever. Wow, they beat their wives. Well, now you're kind of calling out everybody in that group. So there's special rules. You got to check your jurisdiction. You got to contact your local defamation lawyer if you have more questions or if you feel you've been defamed. Or if you're on the defense side, you are being sued for defamation. There are defenses, as I said, truth, opinion. There's what's known as an anti-slap motion where you say, Judge, I'm exercising my free speech rights and they're just trying to silence me. That's called anti-slap. This is where a defendant can stop a case and seek their attorney fees if this person is going overboard, the plaintiff, okay? So that should give you a good thing. Again, some other defenses. It has to be of and concerning the plaintiff. If it's not, then that's a way out. There was no publication to a third party. For example, if one person's sending an email directly to the other, there's no publication to any third party. No one else is around that can actually hear it or see it or ruin their reputation. And finally, there are privileges. For example, take your impeachment hearing that we're seeing now. Congressmen, senators, they can get up, say whatever they want to say. You're not going to be able to sue somebody in Congress for defamation, okay? Maybe it's happened, but I don't think so, okay? So that is a quick and dirty look at libel per se. We're a California litigation firm, also have an office in Phoenix, Arizona, licensed to practice law in Phoenix. This is general legal information only, advertisement, communication. If you need help, give us a call if you're involved in litigation or need to defend your reputation, okay? You can find us on the web at attorneysteve.com. I hope you all have a great Friday. I'm going to have another video this weekend, which you're going to want to see, Respondeat Superior. Respondeat Superior. So make sure you're bookmarking us. We'll talk to you again. Have a great weekend. Bye now.